Well, tonight's episode deals with self development. And as I was sharing before the technical issue, is that self development is a major move. It's a major move for anyone to decide to do. And so, one of the terms to describe how something is bold and daring, it takes a lot of faith to move on, actually, self confidence is the term being gangster. And someone will say gangster, gangster, either way, it's okay. We know we mean the same thing, but it's a bold move. It really is to step out of um, the normalcy of sorts and even fear. And what I just want to touch on quickly tonight are 5 reasons why taking on the development of self is gangster. It really is, because there are so many people who live and move through life without developing themselves. They think they are. They may do things that someone says that they should do, but they are unhappy within themselves. That's a whole nother show. But I just want to leave you with 5 perspectives tonight to consider when you think about developing oneself. And this doesn't matter if you are in your 60s, 70s, 20s, or 30s, whether you're having a midlife crisis in your 40s and 50s, or you're having a quarterly crisis, which is very real with 20-year-olds. You can always move in a direction of bettering yourself. And hopefully, as you live, you are evolving, because who you were and what you needed and what even met your needs when you were in your 20s or 30s, you fully understand it's not working for you now. Even how you adapted and coped with issues in life at one time doesn't necessarily mean that those coping skills and those adapting or adaptable behaviors continue to work in different environments. You know, what worked in one relationship or one job experience may not work in the next. And if we're not careful, we will adapt, or rather take on maladaptive behaviors, because what worked before is not working now. We're not changing as life is evolving. We're not evolving. So I just want to introduce 5 things that I thought about this week that I thought would resonate with all of you when you think about personal development and self development. All right. Well, the first one is radical ownership. Radical ownership says you're choosing self. You're choosing to develop self. And this means taking responsibility for our actions. You know, we're not fault finding and blaming everyone else for what went wrong. If we're a leader and something went wrong on our watch, it went wrong on our watch. We take ownership. How did that happen? Why was this allowed to happen on my watch? We take ownership. We are accountable. We're responsible for our actions. We are responsible for our mistakes, past and current. We don't dwell on them and continuously live in them and give power to our mistakes, but we acknowledge them and we hopefully learn from them. That's developing. That's development. So we also look at our future goals. We make goals for ourselves. And if we fail at our goals, let me tell you, we pick up and we start again. And it doesn't have to be a rush to reset, excuse me, or a rush to restart, but we pick up and we start again. We own our goals. We own what matters to us and how we want to see ourselves move forward in the future. That's a great mindset. That's a gangster mindset. Absolutely. Here's the second one: resilience and grit. Self improvement requires facing our fears. It requires us overcoming our setbacks. It requires doing the hard inner work. This is the one thing, if someone asks me, what is the one thing that you see the most uh, when you are coaching other people? It is making the decision to do the inner work. For many people, doing doing the outer work is difficult, but not as hard as making decisions about correcting self-correction, and self-regulation, correcting the way one has been taught to think, and not putting the blame on anybody or experiences, but saying, this is my life and my mind and my thoughts, and I choose to learn how to think differently and put in the work, because the body remembers, the mind remembers how it's been allowed to process and move for years, but a person who has a gangster mindset really works hard at uh, allowing the Lord, really the Holy Spirit, to do the inner work and embrace it, and don't buck it, don't resist it. That's gangster. It really is. So self-improvement requires discipline, basically. Yeah, to do the hard work, the discipline, the resilience needed to succeed. Yeah, that's hard, but it's not impossible. It really isn't. Um, it's not hard to succeed and to mirror the toughness, not the harshness, but the toughness of a good old soldier, and that takes time and it takes faith. But we can do that. We can do all things through Christ, which strengthens us. And it strengthens us to have the mindset of Christ, which gets us through struggles and challenges. Evolve for Life helps individuals triumph through family relations, forgiveness, and personal development. Solo sessions and group sessions of no more than 4 are currently available. So schedule your appointment today at www.stephanieersolomon.com. And that's Stephanie with 2 N's. Welcome back. Welcome back. Well, let's look at that third reason that gives us the mindset of a strong soldier, not a person who's out here gangster, out here breaking laws, but kind of breaking some norms, but not breaking laws. But you are determined to put in the inner work that makes you stand out and be bold and to be courageous in your endeavors. Well, here's the third one: while you're embarking on self-development. That often means going against the grain, excuse me, going against social norms, setting boundaries for yourself, and those boundaries are not always, they do include, but not always about, others coming in your space and giving them access, but it also is about what your limitations are, what your bandwidth is, what your capacity is, saying yes to everything, saying no to some things. That's creating boundaries that's healthy for you. It's healthy for your mind, and it also works with your levels of stress, and prioritizing your well-being, even if it's uncomfortable and unpopular. Oh my gosh, it is hard. I've seen it in action in my own life and in others. But you really, when you get to a place of quiet confidence, you understand at some point, it really doesn't matter what other people think. I'm moving in this. I don't have to make a big announcement. We talk about living out loud. Well, everything doesn't have to be lived out loud. There's a point where you have a quiet strength and your confidence is in the Lord. You move forward knowing that I am changing and things around me will change because I am changing. I'm changing the atmosphere just because I am changing. The atmosphere changes rather because I am changing. So whether it's uncomfortable or unpopular, it has to be done because you want to be a different person. You don't want to be someone else who you see. You just want to be who you were meant to be when Christ thought of you. This unapologetic approach to doing what's best for you, it's a bold move and it's admirable. And that's what makes this so gangster. People admire, you know, people who are bold and courageous in the face of struggle and challenges, and strive to be that best version of themselves. You know, I've talked about being that next version of us, that 2.0, and we can go higher, 3.0, 4.0, and higher. But let's look at the next version of who we are now, the original us. We can evolve into that next version. And that comes with personal development. There's a scripture that comes to mind when I think of evolving with boldness and a quiet confidence. And it comes from Isaiah chapter 30, verse 15. It says, "In quietness and confidence shall be your strength." There is strength in moving forward and evolving into this other you, this other me. What happens when we do that? We master so much within ourselves. Some people call it self mastery. That's a learned behavior. Self mastery requires patience, it requires fortitude, it requires consistency, it requires commitment to self, it requires self love. You have to really love yourself to really want to be the best version of you. And that requires work. Here we go. Mastery over struggles. This is the fourth one that resonates here. When you invest in yourself, which is what happens when we develop ourselves, you and I are showing that we can wear our struggles as badges of honor, transforming pain into power. That's both rebellious and empowering when you think about it, reflecting a gangster vibe of rising above adversity. You know, we live in an age where we celebrate different things. Some things we really need to put the skids on. One of the things I think about how we celebrate strong women, and I believe that women who have demonstrated emotional strength, physical strength, intellectual strength ought to be recognized. But we need to be careful that we don't go into a dark place of celebrating um, struggles so much that it's a badge of honor that we don't also see our part of being human in the struggle, that it's always about the struggle. It's always about the struggle. You know, when are we hearing the celebration of being on the other side of the struggle? And I've talked about that before as well. All right, I have one more to get to. Stay with me, and I'll be right back to talk about the fifth one. Looking to deepen your faith journey? Step into Steph's author store where faith meets inspiration. Discover autographed, disciple centric books that speak directly to the heart. With each book, unlock a collection of downloadable companions that allow you to hear your author pray, decree special healing scriptures set to music, declare 31 uplifting I am affirmations from the book Living with the King, and read 2 popular chapters that influence the start of the life coaching service Evolve for Life. So, why wait? Find your next favorite book and companion in faith right here at Steph's Author Store, where each word is crafted to encourage, empower, and uplift. All right, welcome back. Welcome back for the fifth reason why self development is gangster. All right, here we go. It's breaking cycles. That's the fifth one. Oh my God, breaking cycles is such a big deal. There are so many people who I talk to, old and young, who recognize cycles in their own within themselves, not just family, because we often want to talk about just the family and generational cycles, but what are cycles within oneself, because we're talking about self-development right now, so we want to focus on the self more so than other people around us. Recognizing the cycle, that's essential. Doing something about it, that's gangster. Top tier, oh yeah, that's a major move, because I don't just recognize my imperfections. I don't just recognize I am a sinner saved by grace. I do the work to become a spiritually mature person. You know, I want to do the work to be, you know, many people find on their jobs that they are required to go to professional development workshops, seminars, so that you become better on your job. Many people know that promotions aren't available to us if there's no evidence of growth in the job space that we have. Professional development, we do things so that our career can be enhanced, but we have to do the same for us ourselves. Personal development, spiritual development. Okay, but let's deal with the person developing. And here's the fifth reason why developing oneself is a gangster move: breaking cycles. Self development is about breaking through generational and or personal cycles of negativity. I believe that when you do address the generational cycles, you are addressing your cycles, because in some way or another, you're impacted by them. Even when you recognize them and say, I'll never, whoops, don't want that to happen again. I'll never be like that. I won't take that on. I've seen it in my family. It still has an impact on the person, because you've witnessed it and you're working hard to not be that. And that requires work as well. So whether it's generational or personal cycles of negativity, putting in the work to break the cycles is a major, major move. It's revolutionary, actually, to get rid of things like cycles of mediocrity. This is the limit. This is the range that everyone goes in my neighborhood and my friend circle, my family circle, and to do anything different than that is scary. Won't be accepted, and I surely will be that person who is talked about, and I cannot handle that. But a bold person puts all of that aside, because he or she wants to see who they're meant to be. So it's revolutionary to act on what it takes to develop oneself, to be that 2.0 version of oneself. As I said, it's revolutionary and it's very powerful. All right. It's a really no nonsense move. Well, I'm going to stop right there with those 5 reasons. And I hope that those 5 reasons give you something to think about, because in essence, self development is about mastering yourself and your circumstances. Okay, which require courage, resilience, grit. All right. In all of your circumstances, it's a bold mindset. And that's the true move of a gangster. All right. Well, I hope that what I shared tonight has been insightful, has helped you in some way. And I'm sorry I haven't been on in a while, but keep me in your prayers as I'm juggling between projects. But I really felt led to get on today and get back into this chair and share with you some things that can help you as you are evolving through this life of yours. All right. And developing yourself into the best version, the version who God saw when he thought of you. Well, for those of you who are interested in being a part of a group session or just a one-on-one session with me at Evolve for Life, just look at the ticker down there and yep, click it, click the link, and create an appointment. Do the inner work. All right. Create an appointment so that you can start another aspect of your journey of developing you. Well, that's it for tonight, folks. And Lord willing, I'll be back again with some more little nuggets that the Lord is giving me. All right. And I'll be sharing them with you. All right. Take care, everybody, and have a great week.